I don't know about keeping that part in. We'll maybe not. Maybe we won't do that. Hello and welcome to another Toppcast. My name is Jonathan, and I wanted to start off by apologizing. These last couple weeks have been really busy for me. I graduated last weekend, and I had to take a couple of exams to get everything in order, but now I'm officially licensed to shoot ionizing radiation at people, so yay for that.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! You're doing it good, buddy. Great job!
Before we get started, I'd like to give a quick shout out to Caitlin Lane McCullough. She just released her book, Francine's New Name, and there was a whole Facebook event for that, in which she invited me to speak, basically. So I had a lot of fun doing that, and if you want to see what happened and all the other authors that spoke at this event, or I guess posted on this event, the link's going to be below in the description. So basically, I've kind of created a little formula, if you will, about how these videos will go. And before we get into the actual topic, and the topic for today will be how to create the perfect villain, we're going to do like a little writer's toolbox. And I believe that one of the writer's most valuable tools is his notebook. So why is it important, if you're a writer and you're serious about writing, why is it important to have a little notebook? Well, it's important because you never know when ideas or inspiration are going to hit you. They don't always come when you ask them to. Sometimes they'll hit you at the weirdest of times too. You'll be at Walmart, or you will be at Target, or you will be at the gym, or doesn't matter, it could hit you at any one of those times, and if you're not prepared to at least jot them down, you could forget them, and that might have been the idea that you needed in order to get past this writer's block, or past a certain conflict that you had with one of your characters. You didn't know how to exactly, I guess, form this conflict or get out of this conflict. Having a writer's notebook around is very useful. So if it's not in your writer's toolbox, I recommend you get one. And since you're going to be writing on this for a while, go out a little bit. Don't just get some random spiral. You want something that you're proud of, so that later, whenever you're done with the book and it's on your shelf, you have your writer's notebook for that book that you released next to it. And then you can go back and look at all the notes and laugh at some of the things that you jotted down. It's got its uses for sure. So if you don't have it, get one. Okay, so let's get into it. How to create the perfect villain. You may have an idea of what the perfect villain would look like, and I think it's going to differ greatly from mine, because what most people think of when they hear the word villain, they think of someone like this. These icons reek evil, and I don't really like these descriptions or depictions because they're not realistic at all. But Jono, the villain in my book looks exactly like that, and it sounds like he gargled nails for a few hours. Well, fair enough. I'm not saying it's not valid to have a villain looking like this and acting like this and, laughing and cackling every few minutes just to set his character apart, I guess. We all know that the hero wins in the end, and we all know that this evil villain will get his comeuppance and burn in a fiery pit of hell. And if that's the way you roll, I guess that's fine. It's not to say that there aren't people in the world who are just evil just to be evil, but it's just not very interesting. People like that aren't interesting. Evil people just for the sake of being evil, I don't want to waste my time with that, because there's no layers to them. They just are evil. Okay, great. Let's move on. And I think a villain should have more depth, especially a villain. If you're writing a book series and you're gonna have one villain, you gotta make that villain very, very interesting. And this trend is most common in young adult. And if you haven't picked up by now, I absolutely hate young adult. Young adult, before you crucify me and unsubscribe and do all this other stuff and comment like hell in the descriptions, hear me out. If you write young adult and that's what makes you happy, great, go for it. But make it original and non-cliche. Make it realistic. If it's a romance, add depth to it. Not just because she looks like this and he looks like this, so they should just That doesn't happen in real life. Maybe it does, but just not like that. You understand what I'm saying, right? And trust me, once you add these elements to your young adult novel of not just because he looks this way and she looks this way and they're kids and then they're gonna go off and save the world, once you add depth to it, it stops being a young adult, I think. So if you suffer from young adult syndrome, this is the way to get out of it. I don't know about keeping that part in. Maybe not. Maybe we won't do that. To me, a villain is someone who does something bad for a legitimate reason. Something that you'd say, damn, I have a hard time disagreeing with that choice. I mean, it was a bad choice, but I would have done the same thing as well. In making the villain relatable, you create a conflict with your readers as they don't know who to root for, the obvious hero or the obvious villain. At that point, the lines get blurred. This confusion is gold to me because it tears your readers apart trying to find out who to root for. And if there's anything that I like doing, is tearing my readers apart. I mean, in my novel Nights Without Kings, I don't have a character that looks like that, basically. My characters are all normal looking, they don't cackle, and they don't speak gruffly all the time. Now, we do have demons in my novel, but even they aren't always bad. Like you'd think, I mean, that's one of the, not only is it dumb to write a villain that's always bad and irredeemable, but you're also writing yourself into a hole because there's not much you can do that's original with one of those villains. There isn't much you can do. Everything's already been done, and you just kind of write yourself into a hole. Let's just say you're writing a series. I mean, the same thing. You're either gonna have to kill him off and replace him with another cookie cutter villain, or just be boring with that villain, and it's all about the hero, which, I mean, it's okay. There's some stories that are like that are fine. But to make it realistic is to not do that. Does that make sense? I don't know, sometimes I feel like I don't make sense to my own head. This is probably what insanity looks like. A great example of a true villain is the character in Game of Thrones TV show and book series, and there are going to be spoilers alert, so just warning you now. There's this character's name is Jaime, and Jaime is kind of an asshole in the beginning of the show, and he could be considered a villain, but throughout the series he goes through things that changes his perspective on life and his loved ones. This character arc is beautiful because it started as one of the main characters that I really hate, and now I absolutely love him. This change was expertly done by J.R. Martin, who knows how to craft character arcs and real personality with his characters, for lack of a better word. He adds depth to them. And that's what I feel like that's what I feel is lacking in the book medium, in the movie medium, and just about anything is depth. Now, there are your obvious exceptions, right? I mean, Game of Thrones to me is an obvious exception. But in general, I don't feel very intrigued by characters nowadays because it all is very cliche, and I don't like that. But at the same time, that's okay because it's up to you and me to create a story that's original, that brings something new to the table. And you might even say, well, there's no way I can do anything new. Everything's already been done. Well, okay, then you add a different spin on it. There's always a way to make a book original. There's always a way. You just gotta think about it. It is up to us writers to craft that story. And I believe in you. I believe in what we're doing. Writing, creating stories is an art that cannot be lost. So what is the way you craft a villain? I mean, I've already explained to you how and why I craft my villains. So what about you? Do you disagree with me? Do you think that there is legitimacy in creating a villain that's basically just a cookie cutter? Because if there is, I'd like to know. I mean, I'm sure that there are ways to do it in which it's a different spin on it. So let me know in the comments below. And today in Recommended Awesome, every time, and basically just as a little forward to what Recommended Awesome is, it's that recommendation of awesomeness. Of awesomeness that, if it could be a movie, it could be a new artist, it could be just something that I've picked up along the week and been like, hey, I really want to show my viewers this. Well, today it's going to be Hunter Prey. Hunter Prey is an independent science fiction movie. After their ship crash lands on a desert planet, an elite team of commandos attempt to recapture the last survivor of a destroyed planet before he can retaliate against their homeworld. The film is full of excellent cinematography, and although the acting can be a bit wonky at times, the plot twist is well worth the time if you're a sci-fi lover. As Nick Hartel of DVD Talk rated it 4.5 stars and wrote, Hunter Prey is likely to go down as one of the best science fiction movies in a long time that most people will never see. So that's all for today, fellow friends. Tune in next time where we talk about how to create the perfect hero. So you might already have an idea of what I would say based on what I said about the perfect villain, so please subscribe, like, and comment. Let me know what you thought about today's Toppcast. Also, I've compiled my newsletter, so you can subscribe to that down in the comments below. And you know, if you're new to this show, this is the first video you're watching about writing that I've made, please hit like and subscribe. So go to my Facebook page and my author website to keep updated on book news and writing related materials. That's all for this week. You have an excellent weekend. Goodbye. Notebook.